Funding for Schaeferillis is provided by
Shark Vpn. Tune in till the end to find out about their amazing service.
Hello gamers, it's me, Schaff, in person. Whoa! It's been a while since I did one of these in-person reviews. I think the last one was like Cats 2019, and that was a while ago. Anyway, I figured it would be good to do an in-person thing for this review for a couple reasons. Number one, because Warner Brothers is really mean with copyright compared to every other studio that I've uploaded clips from. So we're just gonna try and avoid any of that copyright issue stuff. And the second reason I wanted to do this in person is because a lot of my critiques with this movie are very theater kid-esque, and I feel like those kind of critiques work better in an unscripted, face-to-face setting. This is how I ranted to my friends last night about the movie, so this is how I'm gonna rant to you about it as well. Okay, so In the Heights, it is Lin-Manuel Miranda's first full-length musical. I haven't forgotten 21 Jump Street. Hashtag Justin did nothing wrong. Hashtag fuck you Naomi. But In the Heights was the first musical that was like full-length that he wrote for Broadway, like before Hamilton. And it is a very good musical. I really enjoy it. Maybe I give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's fun. It's got a lot of great characters, a lot of really great songs. I think it falters a bit in the story. Like, I'm not a fan of the fact that the plot hinges on someone winning the lottery. Like, that seems a bit absurd a bit. I don't know. And I just feel like story-wise, it's a bit generic. You're mostly there for the characters and the songs, and it's very enjoyable. I really like the original musical. It's been a while since I saw it, so going into this movie, I was just really excited to see it again. I heard it got rave reviews, and you know what? It's a good movie. There's a lot of really excellent directorial choices. It really feels like they're taking advantage of the fact that it's a movie and a musical. Like, a lot of movie to musical adaptations don't take advantage of either, and they're really bad. But this is definitely one of the better movie to musical adaptations in recent years, and I just think in general, it's very well shot. Like, the cinematography is flat out insane in a lot of parts. Like, the directing is great, the cinematography, it all like comes together. It's so creatively done. The musical numbers are just excellent. Everything comes together in them. Again, the way they're shot, plus the performances, which are all fantastic across the board. And that's something you really can't say about most movie musicals, because they always got to insert those famous film actors who are terrible singers or terrible in a Broadway setting, and it just makes for such delightful adaptations. But yeah, this isn't like that. Every performance in this is great. Lin-Manuel Miranda is once again the worst singer in every musical he ever writes, and the tradition is going strong in this. But everyone else just kills it. The only song that I thought was not performed the best was Breathe. I thought the actress did great in every other song, but Breathe, I don't know, she just didn't seem to bring a ton of energy to it, which I thought was weird. But every other song with her was great. I'm probably going to be watching a lot of these big ensemble numbers over and over again. Like In the Heights, like the opening song, 96,000, like they are so well done. 96,000 is just like shot in this pool, and the choreography is just so top-notch. It really feels like they saw Cats 2019 and said, we're gonna do the exact opposite of that and make this musical that wasn't even really about dancing in the original, just have this insane, amazing dance numbers. And it just flows together so well. They're dancing in the pool. Like, dude, you just gotta watch this movie for the choreography alone. It is insanely impressive. Some of the best I've seen on film, honestly. And once again, not only did every cast member do a great job singing, but in the acting department too, I thought everyone was solid. I really liked Sonny in this. I like how he's like an actual kid. I got really invested in Sonny, and the new struggle they added for him. I thought it was pretty well handled overall. They added a lot of stuff that wasn't in the original that's like more relevant to the modern day, and I thought it all worked together pretty well. There were some stretches here and there where there weren't a lot of songs because they added some stuff and kind of broke up the pacing of the original, but for the most part, those parts didn't really last that long and they weren't that frequent. It didn't really hamper my enjoyment overall. So yeah, this sounds like a pretty rad movie to musical adaptation. What could possibly be wrong with it? Well, I'm glad you asked. So this movie makes some changes to the original's structure, and they're not great. Pretty much with any movie to musical adaptation, you're gonna get a lot of songs cut out just to fit the structure of the movie better. And I understood that going into this, but some songs being cut, I don't really consider myself a fan of. First of all, they cut Paraguay Reprise, which is the most important song in the entire musical. It is critical to every character's arc. I am joking. I didn't want to hear Lynn sing again, so I'm okay with them cutting Paraguay Reprise. Oh, by the way, I also really liked Chris Jackson as the Mr. Softy guy. That was pretty great. Oh, speaking of random cameos, Patrick Page is in this, and he's like the guy that Jimmy Smits sells his business to. And that was just great. He just sold his business to Hades, like, F. And oh yeah, Jimmy Smits is in this. I haven't seen him in anything since Rogue One. That was cool.
Basil Oregano, played by Jimmy Smits.
I think overall the film flowed pretty well. They did move some things around, but for the most part, it worked in the context of this being a movie compared to a stage musical. But there's just two things that I didn't care for. And those two things are two characters that really just got the short end of the stick compared to the musical. The first and most egregious is Abuela Claudia. So she's a very central character in the original musical. And she kinda is here, but really it doesn't come across that way. And I don't think anyone who goes into this without having seen the original musical would really get how important and integral she is to the original. Because in this, she's kind of a background character until the end of Blackout, and that's when we get every aspect of her character. She sings her great ballad song, Paciencia y Fe, and the song is really well done. It's all happening in her head, and just the choreography, the creativity, it's all outstanding. But then she dies right after, and it's like, in the original, we have her ballad song in the middle of Act 1, and then she dies in the middle of Act 2, and then Blackout is when she reveals to Usnavi that she had the winning lottery ticket, I think. That sounds about right. Yeah? Maybe. That sounds about right. I don't need to check. You check. This is on you. You need to fact check me. Keep me in check. Okay? And so basically, every major interaction with her, every major beat of her character is spread out throughout the course of the show. And that really works. It helps establish her better so that when she dies in Act 2, you really get invested. Oh yeah, I should have put a spoiler warning. I'm going to retroactively have edited a spoiler warning in, and then, yeah. But in the movie, she doesn't have any moments of significance until this moment where she has the whole song in her head, her whole ballad, and then immediately dies right after. It's like they took these two central parts of her character and just smushed them into one part, and that's like the only part of the movie where she's relevant. And it's so weird. Like, I liked it at first because it like brought everything together with her character and got me invested, but then I thought about it more and I'm like, why did they do that? Like, the end of Blackout is a very climactic part in the original musical, but now they're just getting rid of its climactic elements and just shoving her death in there and making it transition straight into Alabanza, which was so rushed. It really, like, didn't emotionally hit me at all like it does in the musical, where it's given more time, and it really just felt like that rushed In Memoriam at the Oscars this year, where they just played it at double the speed for no reason. It was just so awkwardly done. I don't know what the goal was with rushing through Alabanza. It really didn't hit me emotionally at all. And then they cut Everything I Know, which is the song right after Alabanza, where Nina's singing about how much Abuela Claudia, like, meant to her and everything, and just... But we'll get to her. We will get to her. So, yeah. By the end, it really doesn't feel like Abuela Claudia, like, left that much of an impact. The big scene at the end, where Usnavi, in the original, sees a mural that Graffiti Pete painted of Abuela Claudia, that's what gets him to stay instead of leaving. But in this, it's like, oh, Vanessa made these dresses. And then Graffiti Pete painted like a beach. And the beach is clever. I thought the framing device of this movie was extremely clever. And the reveal at the end with it was great. I'm not even going to discuss that. You just see it for yourself. It's very, very well done. Very smart. And an addition that can only be done in the movie compared to the musical. So I really like taking advantage of that. But there's no Abuela Claudia image there. He didn't paint her. He just painted the words Paciencia y Fe. And it's like, okay, that's passable, but it doesn't have nearly the same impact as him seeing her face and being like, there goes my flight. It's just, they just did not do her justice in this, and it really bugs me because she is such a, the male's here, because she is such a central figure in the original musical, and it removes the best, most impactful emotional moments. And if an adaptation removes the most impactful emotional moments, then I don't like that. So the second character that this movie really did dirty was Nina. I thought her entire arc is the most compelling in the original musical, and they cut out so much of it. First of all, Jess was really upset about this when we watched this last night with the group. But her mom be dead. Her mom was a character in the original, and then in this movie, she's dead before it starts. So Jimmy Smits is her only father, and there was a lot of great conflict with the family, with the father, mother, and with Nina. And it's all gone because the mother is dead. So that's not great, but I guess it was fine. I adjusted to it pretty quickly. The thing is, I really didn't feel like they explored a lot of Nina's struggle that well. They just had kind of one conversation where she was explaining why she didn't want to go back to school, and Jimmy Smits was like, I mean, well, they had two conversations, but like the first one didn't really leave much impact. The second conversation, it just kind of ended. Jimmy Smits is like, you're going back to school. You're going to go back to Alderaan, blow up Death Star. And then they just cut to Blackout, or, well, they cut to the scene before Blackout at the club. So, I don't know. I just feel like so much of Nina's stuff was cut. They cut Sunrise, which Jess was really upset about. I don't remember much of Sunrise, but sorry all you Sunrise fans out there. I was more upset about Everything I Know, which is one of my favorite songs in the original, and it really complements Alibanza so well. It's Nina reacting to Abuela Claudia's death. It's very integral to her arc, and it's just not there, and I don't like that. I see no reason why they had to remove it. It's like so much thought and effort was put into the direction of this movie. Like the way it was directed, the way it was shot, the way it was edited. It's like, so these musical numbers come together so well, but it's the connective tissue between them, the way they were rearranged, the ones that were cut, that really just hampers it for me. I think the original, in spite of its flaws, probably tells the story better, and it's hard to really say, because there's some stuff I like in this. I like that Usnavi isn't reliant on the 96,000 in order to get out of Washington Heights. I like that he gives it to Sonny instead, so Sonny can get a green card. I thought that was, like, well done. I like that the plot doesn't hinge on a character winning the lottery anymore, but at the same time, I feel like every other change that was made in this kind of hampers the impact of the original story, and it just rearranges it in a way that I'm not particularly a fan of. So I think the bottom line is, if you've never seen the original In the Heights, I don't think any of these are going to be a problem for you. Really, most of my problems with this movie come from it being an adaptation of the original that just cuts out so much impact that the original had. But I feel like if you're new to In the Heights and you're already a fan of musicals, you're gonna love this movie. It is just such a breath of fresh air compared to every other movie musical like ever made in the past 10 years. I'm gonna be rewatching so many of the musical numbers from this movie so many times. It's just astounding what they did with some of these. So creative. Overall, this whole movie was just a blast to watch. But it made me mad in a lot of ways because of the ways it didn't make me sad, and the musical did make me sad, if that makes sense. It's ironic because the Les Mis movie is such a dumpster fire, but I feel like the changes it made to the story in terms of the order of operations actually kind of enhances the story, even though it was so poorly executed in terms of how it was shot and edited and all that. And like In the Heights is the opposite. It's superbly shot and edited and choreographed and everything, but it just makes changes that just really undermine the original story. It's like they're extreme polar opposites in that regard. Don't get me wrong, I love the Les Mis movie. It's like the Spider-Man 3 of movie musical adaptations. It's just so bad that I just adore it. But yeah, In the Heights is very good. Could have been very great if it stuck to the structure of the original musical a little bit better. But I will give it a 7 out of 10. I would highly recommend. I don't think it's gonna sway any non-musical fans. I think you'll probably hate it. But it is very, very fun for all you theater kids out there. Like, theater kids, we be eaten with this movie. Hopefully it doesn't piss you off as much as it did me. But yeah, it's the second best musical I've seen this year, which, number 1 is Bo Burnham's Inside, obviously, 10 out of 10. I'm not really gonna talk about it because, like, that's not really a musical I want to analyze on the internet because of its subject matter. I feel like I'm kind of missing the point if I do that.
You're welcome.
Wow, I'm gonna get so many likes now. But yeah, watch In the Heights and also watch Inside by Bo Burnham. I'll probably talk about it more when I talk about my top 10 favorite movies of 2021, which I hope In the Heights gets on there. It might not. I don't know. This year seems like it's gonna be really good for movies, so there's gonna be some steep competition. But yeah, overall, it's very good though. Would recommend. And also, I really hope there were no sharks in that pool, because then they would have to surf away because Surfshark VPN. This is so much worse when I have to do this on camera. Hey, Surfshark VPN, let's go hear about that right now.
An incredible product that encrypts your data and protects you online. Surfshark VPN allows you to access geo-restricted content, meaning you can trick your browser into thinking you're in another country, thus allowing you to access content you couldn't get otherwise. That way, you don't have to physically travel to another country to watch that country's exclusive Netflix content, for example. You can also use Surfshark and its Surfshark Alert system to get alerts anytime your email address or password is compromised. Surfshark Alert scans various databases of leaked information and notifies its users if their data is found so they can take action, which is an absolutely invaluable feature. Surfshark is also totally unlimited, meaning you can use it on as many devices as you like, even all at the same time. No other VPN allows this. Go to surfshark.deal/Realist and enter promo code Realist to get 83% off and 1 extra month of Surfshark VPN for free. It's an amazing deal, and it's even better because it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you can cancel during those 30 days and get your money back. Once again, head to surfshark.deal/Realist and enter the promo code Realist. Have a great time with Surfshark VPN.